Hey everyone, Adam here. So is our podcast. We're at Rhode Island Anime Con talking to Frank about the Dark Legend of the Thorn.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure I got the whole thing. Well, it's really early on, so I'd normally ask how your con's going, but we're kind of waiting for things to ramp up. So why don't you tell us about your book?
It's about the first book is about an ancient Japanese warrior that got frozen 400 years in feudal Japan and wakes up in modern day New York City, Central Park.
Okay, very cool. And it looks like there's a ton of monsters, otherworldly things, supernatural elements. So what's your kind of like overall story pitch?
Well, it's the first one's basically his story of learning the martial arts and stuff like that and being frozen. Didn't really have much time to understand things. And in the second one, he more develops who he is and the right way to path. And as you can see, a lot different from the first cover to the second cover, so he understands his place in, I guess, the circle, and then, he becomes more of a hero more in the series and just trying to protect all these monstrous things that are just coming up, demons, and trying to take over the planet and destroy New York and stuff like that. So he's one to take on the task.
All right, cool. So it's a kind of a larger story that the audience is learning it the same time as the hero is,
right.
What his actual role is.
Yes.
Very cool.
I thought it would be a kind of cool idea. You mix different, histories of feudal Japan, and then you go into New York,
Right.
It's a little, someone like him walking down Central Park,
Right, has mind blown.
Yeah, I mean, he's a martial artist. He'll adopt, but like people like, oh man, that's a scary. We already have scary things walking down in New York City,
right?
Let alone something like that. I'd be like,
and then you have the monsters,
yeah, and some demons and stuff like that. It's pretty cool,
How long have you been writing for?
I originally wrote the first book in 1996, and I didn't really do anything with it until about 2012 or 13, and then jumped into the publishing game, trying to learn. And I do a lot of book cons and comic cons, and my audience is thrilled that I come where I go. So I try to keep up the same areas because I get good feedback from that. So.
Right, that's great.
Yeah.
So your first book in 1996, did you have to revisit it and kind of figure it out again as you kept going?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah.
Because I originally hand wrote it. And,
wow.
And then, so like those mean notebooks that when you go into like elementary school that your kids
right.
have. So I wrote on it. It was like 6 books of those. And then I kind of like tweaked it a little bit from when I picked it up in probably 2011.
Modernized things a little bit.
And modified it to a point. But it got so much better because then when you look back, your development as a writer and things that you see and when you're reading, and because that's something you're passionate about.
Oh, for sure.
Your story, your brand, kind of. So I retweaked it, and then I'm glad I did because some of the stuff I read back, I'm like, half the original characters that I had aren't even in there except him.
Okay, yeah.
And then the main character's name is the Master because he's like the master at everything. So I figured that would be fitting. So like he's very good with swords, as you can tell him holding up the swords. That's his number one item. But like he's just very skilled. It's just like martial arts, like you would think of like what Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan or Jet Li, like all those guys combined.
Yeah.
And then some, So he's just on a different level.
That's cool. Did you find in '96 when you were doing it, was it just kind of like a hobby, or did you want to get it out there but you just didn't really have the access?
Yeah. So I used to work when I was younger. I used to work in a movie theater. So I was like, oh, it's really cool and understanding the way they do it. I was going to go to school for that, but I never did. And then I just like, I watched 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, and people always ask me like, where does the Dark Legend come from? It came from 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag. I'm like, it's like, how's a mafia movie come from that?
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that's the one.
No. But and then I started writing. I'm like, and my dad kind of inspired me. He's like, hey, Frank, if you don't like that, make something, write something, create something. He goes, you got the creativity of doing something. He goes, everybody has that opportunity. So I went with it, and it's all to my dad that kind of gave me the push and the encouragement. So
very cool. Yeah. So you like going around to the cons, and you say you do the same ones, you can talk to the same people, and people come and buy your first one and then come back to...
Right. usually a lot of people buy the package, which is what I usually sell. I do sell them single, but usually they buy it because if
Get
you
the
buy
whole story.
right? If you buy the first one, and you're going to be like, oh man, I should have bought the second one from the guy, and the guy signed it. And you get this, you get some posters with it. You get a bag. It depends what you really want to go with. So, but I see a lot of the same people, and they always give me great feedback. I've never gotten bad feedback that they always, so
that's good.
Like, I always know I'm doing something right.
Right.
Because, all my reviews on Amazon are really good. And then people come back that usually see me. So I try to come back to the same demographic that usually, the areas that I do well in Rhode Island and Boston area are ones that I've very frequent. So, ferry from Long Island up until, this Connecticut area. And, that's one of my really good areas. So,
perfect.
So that's why I stick. It's not that far, either.
Right. So this video obviously come out after the con's over.
Yeah.
So where can people find it if they're not here today?
They could go on Amazon, but more directly, you could go to my website, which is frankdestefanoauthor.com, and it'll bring you to Amazon. The books are over there, and you can check out. There's a profile where I'll be during the course of the year. That keeps on getting updated.
Great, yeah.
As I see different things. But that's where it's frankdestefanoauthor.com. I'm on Instagram, just my name, Frank DeStefano, and Facebook too. You can follow me and check out where I'll be. If you get interested, check it out. Come say hi, and you get a nice little signature of a book and a couple posters and some really good reading material.
Great, thanks so much. Well, it looks like it's picking up here, so we'll let you get back to business.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.